Hello, welcome to our fourth virtual session. Today we will continue to explore predictions, but this time we will focus on the use of the future perfect tense. Before we start with the uses of this tense, we are going to start off with the structure that we need to follow. Whenever we use the future perfect tense, we are going to start off with the subject of the sentence, and we are going to use this will have plus the main verb of the sentence in past participle. I'm going to write an example right here so you can identify this structure. So if we read the example, it says, by 3 p.m. tomorrow, the English discussion session will have finished. If you notice right here, we have will have and we have the main verb in past participle. Of course, finish is a regular verb, so that's why it ends with ed. Now, let's move on to the uses of this future perfect tense. The first use for the future perfect says, we use this tense to talk about an action that will be completed before a point in time in the future. Now, I'm going to work with the same example right here so you see how this works. So I'm going to rewrite the example here. So this is my example, so let's work with the grammar explanation and my example. So it says, we use this tense to talk about an action that will be completed before a certain time in the future. So we need to identify the action first. We know that we identify actions by the verbs. So the verb is finished. So we're actually talking about the English session. This right here by 3 p.m. tomorrow is the time in the future. So we're saying that before 3 p.m. tomorrow, the English session will have finished. Okay? We're saying that before this time, the class will be over. That's what we're saying. So I'm going to work with a timeline to help you understand how these events occur. This moment in time is the present, and we're saying that we use this tense to talk about an action that will be completed before a certain time in the future. So let's say that this right here is our 3 p.m. tomorrow. And what we are saying is that before we reach this period in time, our English session will have finished. Maybe at, maybe at 1:30. So this action will be completed before this period in time. Let's move on to the second use of the future perfect tense. So we use the future perfect tense also to talk about a future action completed before another future action. I will give you an example and then we will work with the timeline. Before we move on to the timeline, let's identify two main actions in this sentence. We know because of the verb that the first action is this one. The fact that Ariana will have finished her English homework. So this right here, we could identify it as action 1, the action that will be completed, a future completed action. And this right here, we know this is another action because of the verb. So I will identify this second action as A2. So we use it to talk about a future action completed before another future action. So this right here is A2, our second action. Now, let's move on to our timeline. We know this is a present, and what we're saying is that we have two actions that will happen in the future. So we use this tense to talk about an action that will be completed before another action in the future. Remember that if you have questions regarding this topic or any other topic that we've seen so far, you can join me tomorrow Tuesday at 1:55 to ask your questions. Bye.